So we went to the temple with the cops, and there was the senior cop the first day on 11th April. He basically, so while I was explaining my clinical condition to the priest and questioning them on why are they not leaving my body, they went on to say that it's not us, it's someone else, and there's something Muslim has been up your body, and it's not us, but we'll fix you. They were basically trying to show the cops that they're completely innocent and they have not been they don't even remember my face and all of these things they were saying. And I was completely baffled, of course, because I was under extreme constipation since 14-15 years, since 14-15 hours, because I was traveling in the bus. And throughout my journey, I was being whispered extreme abuses in my ears, and death threats and rape threats against my immediate friends, my close friends, and who were settled outside. And I had been in touch with them to fix myself an exit from all of this. And since I was ignoring all of these talks, my urination was blocked throughout the journey. My defecation was blocked throughout the journey, and my menstrual flow was also blocked throughout the journey. And I was being given a lot of pain in the abdomen. So I knew it was them only, because they were every time I'd ignore them aggressively, they'd the chance not the chance I'm sorry the whispers will the tone of the whispers will change and keep growing in volume and stuff like that. So while we were sitting in front of these trees, discussing my condition, they went on to keep talking here and there and saying that they were basically trying to convince me to believe them once more, and try avoiding the cops and stuff, try indulging into try exposing them in front of try avoiding exposing them in front of these cops who were sitting next to me. And the cops also, the senior officer, he kind of like figured out of how he was lying and everything, and he went on to be a little violent, as in he went on to be a little rebuking. His tone was a little aggressive on one of the oldest the most senior priest over there. And the moment he rebuked him, he within a second he picked up a stick, and he put it on my chest, and he started chanting the mantras that he was doing. And within a minute, half of my upper body was completely cleansed, and everything, there was so much of heaviness within me. It all went off, it all cleared off my head within a second. And I breathed in a way that I hadn't, I mean, it felt like that I had been choked up since years, and it kind of like, it automatically brought a smile to my face. But since I was constipated, and he was basically, they still had held up my root chakra, and henceforth I couldn't relieve myself. So they went on to say, so I told them that my lower body is left, and the chief priest, he went on to say that we need to see your mom, and until she comes and sees us, we will not free you and all of that. So there was a statement that was recorded this particular day. Then next day my mom came with the relatives whom we came for the first time with, and we again sat down, and we went to the cops. We went to the temple again with my mom and a different set of cops. And my mom, she was basically being again, we firstly, the cops, the new set of cops, they refused to come into the temple, saying that we will not be there because the priests don't want us there. And I had to put up a little fight over this, that I've put up I've put up such a grave accusation on them. You've got to be with me because I don't feel safe, and I'm any which way struggling to relieve myself, and I'm under pain since almost 2 days now, so I don't know how to fix myself with this. So they went on to so again, I had to drag the cops to the temple. They were sitting outside at the priest's, their house, having tea and all of that. And I had to cry, not cry, but like I was like, I'm sorry, but I had to be a little aggressive over it. So I requested them to be there, and there they sat down. Now it was a Saturday, and that's usually a rush day there. So again, there was no. Now it was just me, talking to them. Again, the same thing that you have to you have to extract yourself from my lower body as well, and you have to let me be on my own and all of that, and you have to explain why didn't you, why did you possess me, or why are you not leaving, and all of that stuff. And while I was talking all of this, they kept on to saying that it's going to be, it's going to be a 15-day experiment on you where we'll try to extract it from your body. And they were telling all of that. They were saying all of this in front of my mom, and they were also trying to, gas talk to my mom about, there's something in the house that's that's going to be troubling to you guys and all of that. All of these things were going on. So they were basically trying to scare my mom off, just to assure her trust within them again, that they went on to say that you'll have to come back to us separately if needed, but we'll fix this and we'll fix the house and all that and stuff was going on. So that I of course I was going through pain. I knew I was constipated. I knew I have gained so much because of the faith in the highest. I've been able to tackle these shadow selves, these 4 men within my body somehow, and I've been living through this experience since almost so many years that I've my coping mechanisms have kind of become defense mechanisms, and they've gone stronger with every abuse, with every kind of pain and every kind of account of horror that I basically lived through the day. So because of that, I had started seeing the shadow selves within them that were kind of to talk to them or direct them and make them say whatever they wish to say to the people who come down there and discuss their problems with them. So while all of this, they were talking to my parents, and while they were bantering with me over how they'll fix me and all of that stuff, and how it's going to take 15 days and all of that drama that they put up against that 1 minute pull of that 1 minute extraction process over that officer being aggressive to them. That was that kind of left me a little angry at that point, because I was expecting them to be I was expecting the officer to be very much on point over it, but he was just the second officer, the new officer, basically the senior officer. He was all clueless of what to be like to these priests, because he was not at all aggressive and he was not prepared for it, and they had no guns, they had no handcuffs, they had nothing on them, and they went on to, and he kind of left the place. He left the temple when I said when I increased my tone a bit, because I was so much in pain and I was arguing over how sick I am, and I want you all to be completely off me. And they were all completely somatic over how they wished to see me, what they saw me the first time 10 years back, when I was completely fine and I had landed there out of a surprise, taken not even to discuss anything, but to just to bow my head down to at a temple. And it was a family trip that turned into such a such sense of a massacre. So yes, when the cop left the scene, I rose up from the session with the priest, and I went out, to the cop, and I somehow managed to have him write the statement. And over that statement, now I'm waiting for the SHO to put a stamp and mail it to me, and I can put forward the papers back in Noida and put down a notice to these priests to come down for the inquiry, or at least have an arrest warrant against them, and have whatever inquiry or questioning that they need to do, be done, and expect a fast track relief from this. Because the more I delay this, the more I delay the legal procedure to this kind of living in a nature, the more my body gets abused, and the more I follow the procedures, the legal procedures, they start extracting from my body on their own. So it feels like they wish to talk to the government about something, but they don't know how to, put out an approach to it, which I really don't want to believe, because they, whatever they might be doing at the moment, and irrespective of the illiteracy level they might have, all the subconscious literacy that they have over this, especially if they're chanting mantras and stuff, I'm sure they're vocal enough, and they are sound enough to be able to talk to anyone about whatever problems they might have. And but since they've got a since they've got some kind of a doll in my body, and so they're just going on to being as much BDSM driven in their abuse with me as possible. And this is what I needed a little help over, because what I've done today is that when the scam oh shit, yeah, this is a memory loss. So the financial scam that I filed a complaint over, I went on to I kept waiting for almost like 2 to 3 weeks with this new lawyer to give me some time, and I somehow managed to get another job and be able to pay her fees as well at DLSA. She gave me a very minimum amount, but again, every time I drag my parents into all of this legal procedure and stuff, they're not like really, healthy about it. And I've had accounts with the cops over that, and I have my own evidences about it. But again, putting all of that aside, if I was to really talk about how subconsciously I feel harrowed about by everyone at the moment, is what I ended up doing against that is that this lady whom I was to see, Deepa Jain, the advocate, she has been struggling to give me time, and I also have been struggling to, I have been struggling to see her at the time when I am available. And since I know her chamber, I know her schedule, regardless of how busy she might be. We've tried. She expects me to be there in person and sign the papers and everything, and I've expected her to try using my digital signature and all the fees and everything online. And she wishes to hear all the entire story, which I've told her many times, and she still remains, I think, very busy in her head to being able to file the paper right way and all of that, for all the notices that have to go to the priest and this guy, the guy who did the scam with me, to be arrested. So what I did today was I wrote a complaint against all the officers in Himachal who have failed until now to give me the statement the SHO was to put the stamp on. I also went on to file a complaint against the authorities near my house against them, failing to understand how this has to be worked out. And I also went to what was that? I think I went to Nazaria. I spoke to them, and they told me earlier that this is until and unless it's something physical as an evidence that you've been abused, we cannot move forward with the case and everything. Whereas when I read the Madras High Court Act, the kind of nature that's mentioned in the name of witchcraft, well, mine is a little more gory. And I have requested also the officials to I've put applications over this to the SHO at Visrak Thana and back in Himachal as well. I told them that until and unless these men are not caught and treated aggressively against why are they not leaving my body, just as they did on 11th April over one act of anger from the cop. They quickly extracted themselves from my upper body, but left it the second day because the officer did not take any kind of an action against what was the kind of arguments that were going on over there. I have the audio session of that day. I am still left with my, constipated and IBS and wrongly bleeding body, and these spikes on my rectum and my G spot, and forced urination during my meetings, during my discussion sessions, and my creative eating meetings, and all of these are on. And there have been days of orgasms at nights where they are sitting on my face. Sometimes they're sleeping next to me. I feel them sleeping next to me. I've started feeling all of those four brothers talking to me, all sexual as much as possible, and stinking, and blowing bad odor, and sometimes blowing scent into my nose. So there's nothing in front of me, there's no one around me, and suddenly there'll be a blow of a bad odor, or there'll be a blow of a scent, and if I ignore it, I'll suddenly hear an abuse, or I'll suddenly hear a derogatory remark from one of these priests to not have acknowledged it. So these are the things that are on with me. Now my only request is to please help me understand whom shall I move on to, and in terms of getting these people arrested, so that I can start my I can go under a couple of fMRI scans back at AIMS, and prove myself, see if I am completely free of these shadow cells within me or not. Because if at all, because until and unless my body is not free, I cannot go under any kind of I can't go under synthetics, because they abuse the effects of synthetics on my body in a different manner, and whatever symptoms or whatever side effects are going to be there mentioned on a particular synthetic box, they basically increase those side effects, or the pain of those side effects on my body more during my recovery time, than have me be completely cleansed or cleared of themselves. And their way of remaining in my body is so insidious. What they do is that they'll go on to completely go silent within my body, in terms of being felt and in terms of being heard. And the moment I'll feel that they're gone, within 5 or 10 minutes they'll again reboot themselves within me, and start giving me the same pain, start giving me the same poking of the whatever weapons they've been using, or the tools within me. They'll again start being verbal. Their aggression will be their tone will be as aggressive as possible, for my mental health also to never be out of this trauma, or never recover from this violence. And and abusing my pathological empathetic stage of schizophrenia at the moment to a different level, and twitching my pudendal nerve, twitching my vagus nerve to increase every kind of tremor in my body onto a different level, where I either have a nervous breakdown, or I sit and cry over it and stuff, which I really don't, because I'm so much used to all of this nonsense in my body in so many years, that I just I lash out at them. I know their names, right? I know one of their names, so I lash out at them. I'll look at the sky and I'll lash out, and they'll shut up. And they'll also put ease to the pain, but again they'll just come back. So this is what I've been seeking a recovery from, and I'm expecting somebody to give me some sense of brain over how to proceed with for help over this, so that the abuse can come to an end, and I can breathe as a healthy, normal human again in life. Because I wish to move out, I wish to move abroad, and my finances have been so destroyed against the kind of CV that I've had, and against the kind of career growth that I had, that I don't know how am I gonna settle myself up overseas until unless there's some kind of course that I want to pick up, and again start afresh. and I'm a master's in Moscow. Until now, I could have done whatnot, but they've sucked up my muscle memory so much over these 10 years that even if there are days when I want to have just a glass of water and I don't know what to call that thing that I need, and I can't sense, and I don't have, any memory of water being water, or I have to use the loo, but I don't know where the loo is, and when I'm standing right in front of the loo. So there have been such flashes as well of life. So this is what I look at. This is what I have to put out as, and the another level of gender biased reality with these startups and the corporate sectors and the kind of people that pick my CV up. That's also another propaganda. Sometimes it feels like not a propaganda. That also feels like a conspiracy somewhere, because people who are so rude and I won't say rude, but they might be rich as hell, but they're literate enough. They're illiterate enough they're super illiterate in the name of being able to practice some kind of mutual respect when you addressing the other person, and no matter the salary you might be getting out of them, and no matter the salary or no matter the quality they expect out of you, there is no sense of I've been working in some extremely bad conditions, and all the offices that I've been to at the moment over these 10 years since I've started applying for legal help, my experience of going to someone's office has also been very much harrowed, because I have been how do I say, I managed to extract some quality work out of their domain. Thankfully, it looks as clean as what I used to be earlier, before 2015, 18. Yeah, 18 onwards is abuse started, and my whatever setback started professionally. But yes, the grounds that I've been basically asked to leave the place have been my visits to the loo, have been my visits to breathe over a choked up body, because I'm sitting in front of the screen, I am trying to read, but I am reading and there are extreme amount of whispers in my ears and extreme loud tone of the people talking around, increasing in a manner that after a point they'll turn into the tones, into the volume, or into the nature. No, I won't say the nature, but like into the tones of these priests. It'll start feeling like as if these priests are completely talking to me, and these whispers that go on to be in my ears all the time while I'm reading or writing. Those whispers will be I won't say those are just whispers. They've turned into proper dialogues, which are on, I mean, at the moment, I mean, they are as loud as what I am right now, and it's these priests that are talking derogatory to have me be distracted from what I'm reading. And my timely delivery of the work, they try to attack my timely delivery of the work. They'll try to attack my quality. They'll try to attack my meetings by pressurizing me to urinate. They'll suddenly pressurize me to if they need someone out of the meeting, and so what they'll do is they'll pressurize me to have a violent dialogue with the other person who's not making sense to a particular concept or on a particular point, by pushing my G-spot, by sometimes giving pain on my rectum, and a kind of pain which feels like as if my rectum has suddenly been instilled with some kind of how do I say, some kind of an extreme heat. And that heat, the moment I acknowledge or address the nature of that particular object of my rectum, it'll turn into an iron rod. and sometimes they'll block my memory, and I'd be completely out of words to talk at the meeting or be able to explain myself my over some point. So all of these things, now doctors, they don't know, they just want to be put me on a deep sleep and see what I get up as, and have that slow recovery and all of that. But I don't mind taking up that slow recovery, but only at the condition of having my entire body be completely empty from these men, because it's almost like my body at the moment is like a coma patient's body. I have no sense of my self apart from the pain that I have to keep explaining again and again and again to people who have never felt or heard of something like this. And the rest of the things, all the creative talks and all the somatic synapses and all the somatic recovery that I need, that all remains being sucked by these men as if they are constantly 24/7, sucking me up for some kind of an energy booster the other side. And be it any time of the day, be it at night, be it in the morning, they've put some kind of some solar sucking machine of their own within me, and it just keeps sucking everything out of me. So I don't know where to head with this. I have reached out to psychiatrists. They don't know. They just put me on some extreme pills, and my body just destroys itself. Then my diet, I can't even eat. I can't even eat a proper meal. I have to keep running around to keep eating, and every time I'm eating even a few, just half a bowl of some kind of nuts, some dry fruits or some fruit or something like that, or some lentil to keep myself be running, I'd have to what you say, I'll have to remain very cautious of my digestion process, because then it won't let me, the food won't be digested, and if at all it is digested, it won't, I would be incapable of relieving myself for another let's say almost like a day or so. I'd have to keep eating laxative. I eat Dulcoflex. I've been eating Dulcoflex in 3-4 years now, and that's the only way I've kept myself alive. That I'll eat, I'll work out, I'll eat my pill, I'll go to sleep, and then I'll have to fight these shadow cells on my seat to defecate. And until unless I don't rebuke back or be aggressive to all the whispers that happen on the seat as well, to distract me and block my dump somehow, as if I am disturbing someone's space who is trying to clear their head from my easy defecation process. That kind of like becomes that entire episode becomes horrifying and harrowing, and I don't know where to put myself at. I also went to Humsafar Trust. They're clueless about it. They also gave me pills. Those pills also never helped. Then I went on to request a lawyer. They could not fix me a lawyer. I went to Nazaria. They said, we can't fix you because there is nothing physical about it. So now when I made such a what you say, when I went on to bring such an account on cam about what they are and how shameful they are and what kind of aggression they need and how they dare to threaten people who are from the Sikh community, because that I remember the first officer on 13th April that I went on to, he's Hardeep Singh. So when he shouted at one of the men to clear me, within a minute they cleansed my body. But the next day when I went with another set of officers, and that officer's name was Shashi Pal, he left the scene. He fled the scene. He tried fleeing the scene within a second over my aggression to those men, which puts entire temple in silence. And after I came out of the temple and after took the statement from them, somehow managed to take the statement from Shashipal, who was trying to flee the scene. There was a line of monkeys who had destroyed the temple, because of which the priests had to shut the temple off. And right after I rose up from the session and went out, asking that police officer to come back. So yes, so there is a natural, so there's a of course there's a natural calling to take a violent step against these men to stop the abuse on me. And I need some strict officers, and I need some really strict help, legal aid, to have these men be thrashed once or twice, slapped super hard, or be spoken in a manner that they don't dare to try talking, rather than extracting their extreme extremely disappointing selves out of my body and leave the body alone, because it's just eating everyone's energy around me. It's eating my energy around me. It has destroyed my house already. I don't want my future to be more destructive just because these people, these men, they are somewhere pretentious over being purpose driven, and are very much on face, the victims of their own greed and lust and homophobia, the moment you make them open their mouths. And the chief priest, the one who remains like Baba Vanga, he is a closeted man. He is so feminine. He is so feminine in nature. Anybody can tell him, and of course he says that I'm a deity, I'm a goddess, and there's a possession of a goddess within me. But I can hear that goddess all the time. I can hear that goddess all the time. So the day I filed the first complaint to the police officers back in Noida, that was the day when I for the first time heard the goddesses saying, Paramjeet, we will burn you alive if you do not leave his body. And he went on to abuse back those women, being as derogatory as they have been to me. And because of my meditation in Bombay from 2016 onwards until 2020, because they blocked my meditation, and I'll tell you how. I used to put up one diya every morning, and I used to chant only Gayatri Mantra throughout my meditation, and I used to remain grounded for 3 to 4 hours in a stretch in meditation, in deep meditation. And this guy, he used to suck all my meditation, all my psychic abilities. I used to be, when back in Bombay, I used to be drowned in my trance of screenplays and visuals and scenes and all of those that I used to be writing. But when I came back home in Delhi in 2020, all my meditation, it turned into such a degraded form of cinema in front of my eyes. And the way these guys used to laugh and be poking me pins post 3-4 hours in a 3-4 hour of a stretch, in a 3-4 hours stretch of a trance, or probably sometimes even just 20 minutes, that my entire power to be able to take every kind of pain that I used to take back in, where am I headed? I'm headed right. Yes, every kind of silence that I basically used to hold myself over for that screenplay driven trance back in Bombay was it just used to keep getting stuck by these. Give me a second, I have to take a right. Yes, it would keep getting sucked by these men, and they'd keep instead of freaking chanting verses, if at all they wanted to kill me, then abuse me and play me and do whatever they wanted take it. No. So yeah, everything that they should have done, if at all they were so homophobic and so aggressive about it and so cult driven over it, they could have, chanted, uses their beach mantras, used their aggression, and it could have killed me any time over those 10 years. But they went on to just like abuse my body and be as much whatever about it, and that kind of like destroyed my power also to be silent over it. And I haven't meditated since almost like 2 years now. It kind of feels a little, it feels diabolic. But since I have kept control over my diet, and since I work out, and my workout has been regular, but yes, the way I've been struggling also to work out, and the way I've been struggling at jobs. I mean, I'm designing someone's website. I used to write screenplays, and my job 24/7 was used to be pitching them around, to talking to artists, narrations, and all of those things, and expecting, requesting artists for their dates and all that stuff. The way it has degraded because of all of this harrowing, these endless episodes of harassment at the cops, and then the female lawyers who know the kind of abuse I'm going through, and they don't even know how to be immature about it and how to be urgent about it, and the kind of tones they have is just so freaking to me. Forget being demeaning. I am using demeaning, maybe because I've lost my maybe because I've lost my mind to be literate about it. But it's I don't know how to explain it. It's irritating. That's all I can say. So yes, I just need some kind of help to fix myself, to get these men down back in Delhi. I don't know where, back in Delhi or where, but have them be arrested, and free myself of them. There's also a friend of mine in Texas who's a professor at the moment. When during COVID in 2020, when she was back in India, she told me that she wanted to be my testimony, right? She said that even I went through this parapsychological sexual abuse, where I was made pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage also, just to believe that I was very much a woman than a eunuch, because back then we were almost on the verge of seeing each other, and she must have been missing me and stuff like that. But I was not in touch with her. I was back in Bombay, busy with my struggle, and I was keeping everybody off, and this pain was on its peak, so I had no sense of how to put myself out to any freaking one for that matter. So what happened was that she must have been missing me or something like that back then, and she would have tried connecting with me, and that was her phase when she had lost her parents because of the COVID. She had actually lost her entire family, her parents, and then her brother, her elder brother. She's alone now. But back then, so she would have basically wanted to get in touch with me, but she didn't get in touch with me because, of course, she was going through her own struggle with the same kind of thing. She was also a victim of astral wielding of pain through tools for over 2 years on her private parts, and it all started with her wanting to connect with me over the same thing, as a sense of for some security. And I'm sure these guys must have started someone like them must have started chanting, not chanting, but like giving her same derogatory verbal abuse, that you're a eunuch if you wish to be if you wish to be a lesbian, or if you wish to be gay, or if you wish to explore your sexuality, or if you wish to explore your nature for that matter. I won't even bring in sexuality, because if I was to talk about celibacy, I can open up so many chapters. So any which way, with due respect to everybody on that tangent, I would never touch that in such a way. Not in this phase for sure. Yeah, she was, by witchcraft, she was psychologically abused sexually, and then parapsychologically abused, She was made pregnant. She was also given what was that again? What do we call that? Miscarriage. And now she's fine. But she told me that I can be a testimony if at all you need my help over explaining how this happened or what the entire thing was. So yes, this is all that I have, and at the moment, my very close friend is on the verge of being another victim. This is what I keep hearing all the time. She's my ex. They keep telling me that we'll murder her, we'll kill her, and we'll destroy her if she marries a man or if she marries you. Because when these women were there in my life, I was a very healthy person. My finances were superb and everything, but the moment I went single, not even in flings, this drama started happening. So again, it's a clear case of conversion therapy. My parents, they every time I ask them about this, that could you have ever asked for it? Me marrying a man or so, they go on to be like, no, never. There could have been instances for us to, accept the fact that, you could be completely straight or so, whatever. Or you must have been through some kind of phase to now, grow up and be like, let's be straight and all that stuff. But again, because of my episodes of lectures over the nature or how sexuality works, they are completely cleansed within their heads about the fact that this is something that they can never ask. They can never ask on anyone or on me as well. So there, on that note, I am completely sure that neither my mom nor my dad can ever put me in this kind of a situation if at all they knew that this is going to be conversion. That conversion therapy would have been somewhere conveyed as some kind of a message against me if at all there were any kind of visits that were off me, that were without me, because of course I always had a suspicion on these guys, like what are they talking about? I mean, why do I see them? My career is fine, my finances are fine, my health is fine, but suddenly when I don't want to see them, I get sick. And I get sick in a manner that it's just them roaming around my head, and I have no other option but to jump to them, speak to them, and understand what's going on. And when I go there, they don't even tell me, oh, why are they sitting in my body? And they lie about it, that it's not us, it's something else. And I have been such a boisterous in nature all my life that even the demons would be my friends. But this entire episode, the way they try to tell me that there's something horrific in your life, there's something haunting, my soul also doesn't even laugh anymore over it, because it's so dumb. Because if I was to explain you my friends, I have been friends with monsters. So again, I don't know whom to give all of this account to. So henceforth, ma'am, if you could please help me a bit and guide me through this guide me towards some legal aid, I'd be in gratitude till eternity and beyond, and I wish to be completely off it. And I promise I'll put myself down also to some meaningful path in the name of career, if at all filmmaking seems, film direction seems pointless. That's all. Thank you so much.